Hello, welcome to Problems in Philosophy. I'm Professor Charudis. I'll be your instructor for our 8-week online course. Very happy to welcome you to our class. I am recording this a few days after Mass Bay and many other colleges throughout the country have moved to go online and to cancel classes because of the coronavirus, the COVID-19 virus. I don't think that this particular pandemic will affect our online learning at all. I do wish, however, that you all stay healthy during this time. In this brief introduction, I just want to say a little bit about me and about the class and where we're going. For more information, of course, you'll be looking at the Blackboard site. I will be doing small videos like this throughout our term. So some will be shorter than this, some will be longer than this. Together with the other online materials, you should get a pretty good sense of what philosophy is. This is an introductory course. It presumes no previous background in philosophy, just kind of a willingness to learn something new, a different way of thinking about the world. So this is an online class, I'll be posting many of our materials online. The reading will be a combination of books and online materials that you'll have to look at. The syllabus will have far more detail on this and what the expectations are for the class. So for starters, I'd like you all to look at the syllabus and to look at the other introductory materials for this class. And then we can go on from there. Also, in the first folder for this class, you'll see that there are some lecture notes and some videos to observe almost immediately. And for many of these, I will have small introductory videos like this as well. So, as far as this class is concerned, the syllabus goes over much of this in detail. I just want to hit on a few of the important points here. This class kind of reflects my own background and training in philosophy. I studied philosophy as an undergraduate, and I studied philosophy in graduate school. I also did studies in graduate school in history, so I'm sort of interdisciplinary. Many students here at Mass Bay know me as their philosophy professor. Some know me as their history professor. I kind of work in the intersection of where philosophy and history come together. My own particular areas of specialty will be something that emerges throughout the semester. I have a particular interest in metaphysics and philosophy of mind, philosophy of science, and ethics, and philosophy of religion. We'll get into all these different areas later on. As far as what the focus of this course is, it is to cover in an introductory fashion all of the materials that one normally looks at in an introductory course. We'll be looking at metaphysics, which is the study of reality and the questions of existence. We'll be looking at epistemology, which is a big fancy word that means knowledge, the theory of knowledge. How do we know what we think we know? We'll be looking at philosophy of mind. How does the mind and consciousness emerge from the brain, which is material, physical? We'll be looking at questions related to free will. Do we have free will? What are some of the latest arguments regarding free will? We'll do a little bit with ethics and ethical theory. We won't have a great deal of time for that. We'll be doing something with political philosophy towards the end of our term together. As we go along through the course, we'll be looking at questions regarding truth, questions regarding language and human consciousness, human nature. So there are a wide variety of topics. If you don't have a great interest in one thing that we look at, I guarantee you that a couple days later we'll be looking at something else that might trigger your interest. And that's really my goal in this course, to kind of stimulate people's interest in doing philosophy. There are some particular themes I've tried to emphasize in this class here. First is that I try to focus on philosophy as it's done today. I do a lot with history of philosophy, but in this introductory course, I like to show you how philosophy is done today, because I am very concerned about showing people that philosophy is relevant and is alive today. I don't want people to think that the greatest ideas ever considered by philosophers were thought over 2,000 years ago, because that's clearly not the case. Philosophy is vibrant and very active today, so I emphasize contemporary philosophy. At the same time, we'll be going through a variety of historical views. We'll look at Plato and Aristotle, we'll be looking at Kant and David Hume and Thomas Aquinas, so all the great philosophers will be covered. But our particular focus will be on 20th century philosophy and on contemporary philosophy. I like to think of an introductory course as helping us answer the question of what philosophy is. And I think we should do that by looking at what it is that philosophers do. So if we see that there are different philosophers who approach philosophy in a different way, you might get a sense that philosophy is very varied and broad, and indeed it is. So I'll be giving you many different examples of what philosophers do. They're not always the same thing. The fields are different, their arguments are different, but they're all engaging in something called philosophy. Philosophy also is something I consider to be an activity. Philosophy is something that you do. Think of it as a verb instead of a noun. Philosophy is a particular way of reasoning. It's a particular way of approaching the world. It's a certain set of questions that we entertain. It's not just a memorization of old theories. So we will have an opportunity in this class. You will have an opportunity to engage in some philosophy as you write things and respond to various things we have online. And finally, the one thing I want to add is that philosophy is meant to stimulate that sense of wonder. This is something that Aristotle said long ago, and Plato said the same thing. That philosophy begins with wonder. And it begins when people in the ancient world first started writing about why the universe is the way it is. It begins in each one of us, each one of you, when as a young child or as an adult you start wondering about deep, profound questions. So this is something that we will take a look at, this sense of wonder. In fact, we'll be starting off with this very idea when we look at our first film, which is going to be very intriguing, I think, for many of you. A little bit about myself. My own background in philosophy is 20th century continental philosophy, but I also work in philosophy of mind, and I'm very interested in the findings of neuroscience as it affects philosophy. So I try in my class to bring together some of the interdisciplinary things and some of the very recent things that are changing philosophy even during our lifetime. So I hope to have a chance to give you a solid introduction, and perhaps you'll take another class in philosophy at some time in the future. So once again, welcome to our class. Please read over the syllabus and look forward to further announcements from me as we begin our course together. Thank you and have a great day.